Hello and welcome to the Madman and Mel podcast. I'm Mel and this is primarily a knitting and spinning podcast. I live on one of the Orkney Islands off the north coast of Scotland with my husband and our animals and our kitties. And this is actually a bonus episode. I think we're on episode, this will be episode 4. This is kind of a bonus episode revolving around my trip to Edinburgh Yarn Fest. It was a last minute decision. About 4 to 6 weeks beforehand I decided, I had no excuse really, I live in Scotland, so I decided to go to Edinburgh Yarn Festival, but I hadn't booked tickets because they'd already sold out obviously. So I went down for the Friday en route to spending a week away on holiday with my mother. So I had Edinburgh Yarn Festival on the Friday and then the following day we went on holiday. And it keyed in really nicely. I think I should have put, I'm not sure where I'm going to edit things, but I should have put some footage before this part of footage of Edinburgh Yarn Fest, and I will probably put some at the end. I may even put in some little bits of footage from our holidays as well. We went to on a little road trip, me and my mum. We went to Anglesey and spent a couple of nights there in an Airbnb, and then we went on to just north of Swansea and spent a couple of nights there too, and then went on to Glastonbury for a couple of nights in Glastonbury. I did spend a bit of money in Glastonbury, but I'm not talking about the Glastonbury haul here. Here I'm going to talk more about what my thoughts and so on about Edinburgh Yarn Fest and how I found it as my first yarn festival, and also my haul, obviously, which I was restrained, shall we say. Lots of people were buying an awful lot of yarn. I bought quite a bit, but I was quite restrained. I'd already bought a lot of wool and yarn previous to going away, so I was quite restrained, and I only bought, no, I'd planned on only buying stuff that I had projects in mind for, but I bought other stuff. But I do have other projects I can use it for, so that's okay. So I'll touch on what I bought, what my plans are for the items that I bought, and the patterns that I'm hopefully planning on using for some of them. And yeah, so I will crack on in. So, Edinburgh Yarn Fest. What did I think of Edinburgh Yarn Fest? Well, I actually really enjoyed it. It was exhausting, unbelievably exhausting, and very overwhelming towards the end of the afternoon. I flew down from Kirkwall to Edinburgh, and the flight was just over an hour long. It doesn't take too long from here. A lot of turbulence coming back in. It was a cold, blowy, windy day. A lot of turbulence coming into Edinburgh, and then caught the shuttle bus through straight to the Corn Exchange. It was really easy, but of course there's big queues at Edinburgh Yarn Fest. There's the main Corn Exchange, and they have queues going from each side of the entrance. One for those who already had tickets booked, they just had their printouts to go pick up their wristbands, and the other queue for anybody who was there just to wait to buy a ticket, which I was in. The queues looked about the same to me, truthfully, although obviously the ones that already had booked were getting let straight in, and ones that were not booked, they were just being let in as they assessed how much space there was. I arrived pretty much on 10 o'clock, which is when the Yarn Fest was starting, although they weren't letting people in immediately. And I obviously joined the back of the queue, but it was all along the front of the building and part way down the side. But by 11, I was stood there for about an hour in the queue, but then I got in about 11. So that wasn't too bad. I think I was probably in the queue longer than I was actually on the plane, it took me longer to travel 200 yards than it did to travel a couple 100 miles. 200 miles, which is quite funny. But yeah, so walked in, and people said it was really busy on the Friday. It was, but I don't think it was that bad. I've been to car boots that are busier than that. It wasn't too bad. It was okay. There was one or two times when we were struggling to get in a stall, but because you were there for so long, it didn't really matter because you could come back once you'd looked at other stalls anyway. So at one point when I went to go to the Jamesons of Shetland, was it Smith and Jamesons? One of the two. It was really busy, and I just came back late. It was fine. It was not a problem. When I went, one of the first places I went was the Isolde Teague stall, although she had an entire area for herself. It was a big area. It was really quiet. Well, I say quiet. You still got used to excuse me to go past somebody, but it wasn't pushing through crowds or anything like that. There was a lot of crowd around where Stephen West was, but again later on it wasn't at all. So yeah, I don't think it wasn't too bad. But a whole afternoon, because it was mostly afternoon, like 11 o'clock, that means it's mostly afternoon. Whole afternoon of walking around and shopping and looking at so much, it was just so exhausting. I stayed there till about 5 o'clock. I think it was closing at 5:30 on the Friday, and I was by 3:30 I was getting really tired, really flagging. I didn't really stop to sit down all day. I just snacked on 1 or 2 bits and grabbed a drink and what have you, but I just carried on shopping. I knew I was only there for 1 day, so I didn't really want to sit on my laurels and what have you, but constantly walking around and constantly looking, it was, and not people, just people, too much stimulation. It was very exhausting, but I enjoyed it, and I'm really glad I went, and I bought some really nice stuff, and so yeah, I'm glad I went. I was brave enough to go up and say hello to a couple of people. I even got a couple of selfies with Maria from Ninja Chickens, which my husband was amazed at. Actually, he was quite, oh my god. And Louise from Spin City, but I was quite restrained. I didn't, I'm quite shy around people I don't know. I'm okay once I know them, but around people I don't know, I'm really quite shy. So I was a little reluctant. I went up and said hello to 1 or 2 other people as well, but that was it. And there was a couple of people I didn't see I was a bit disappointed with. I really wanted to see a couple of other podcasters, and I just didn't see. I saw lots of faces, but there was 1 or 2 that I wanted to see and I didn't see. But you're looking at stuff all the time, and you can't just be focusing on people around you all the time. And so yeah, so I didn't buy too much. I bought yarn, mostly some fibre and some 1 or 2 other bits and pieces. I was very tempted with a couple of the enamel pins. I know that enamel pins are this crazy thing, but there was 1 or 2 that were really nice, and I'm not bothered about collecting them because I will lose them and the cats will chew them, and I'm clumsy. So actually I think one of the kittens are at the door wanting to come in, so I will just go and let her in. They were both at the door, so probably have absolute chaos now, especially as I've got wool skeins lying around, and one of them, Willow, has a thing for wool. You're gonna settle down? No? You settle down? Okay, so I'll just get the little bitty bits out the way first. I really wanted to get a zipper pouch by Eileen Clarkcraft. I got one of her flies actually. Let me see if I can get the light to shine. Show it up without shining too much. She does these amazing felted pictures, but she also prints her felt pictures onto different items like pouches and prints and mouse mats and all that sort of stuff. And what I had a little shopping list of things I want to get. One of the things I wanted to get 1 of her zipper pouches, and really struggled to which one to pick, but I ended up getting this. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, imagine that as the original felted picture. It's just gorgeous. You've got little flowers and this Highland coo, little sheepies, little cottage. The other one I was really tempted with, it had like a fence here, and it looked down a hillside, and the cottage was in the bottom, and it had like the washing line with all the washing hanging on it, and I was really tempted with that one. But this one's got the Highland coo on it, so I had to get it. I'm not sure I'm going to use it for yet. At the moment it's just got my like needle packets in, empty needle packets, because I just got a new needle holding case. Before I was keeping them in here because the sizes, I use the Knit Pro Symphony needle tips mostly, but the sizes rub off them really, like the first time you use them, so I was keeping them in the packets. I have got a needle size gauge, but I still feel like I don't want to be reliant upon it, so so all the packets are in there at the moment. So these are really pretty. And she doesn't like, I don't know why I didn't get, she does like cloths and stuff with the prints on, and mugs and all that sort of thing, but this was easy for me to carry back in my case. I only took hand luggage size case on the plane, but I took it in the hold because of my knitting needles. But I didn't want a big case. I was having to leave it in the cloakroom at Edinburgh Yarn Fest, and I was worried that I would get there and they said, oh, there's no space for a big case. Now I could have took my bigger case because other people had, and I realised they had loads of space, but I was a bit worried. At least with a small hand luggage size trolley case, I could have dragged it around with me and it wouldn't have been too much in people's way. But now I wish I took a bigger one. So that's why I was taking small. That's why this was convenient. I could get it in my case, because when I left Edinburgh Yarn Fest, it didn't matter that I had extra bags, because at my mum's we were going holiday in the car, so that wasn't such a big deal. But while I was at Edinburgh, I didn't want to be hauling loads of stuff around. So that was my first, I would say, yeah, I think that was probably one of my first purchases was this, because that was specifically something I was going for. When I originally, walked around most of the stalls before I bought, and other than, like, because I knew what I wanted with this, I walked around and checked out what things I liked, took a few snaps of things that I thought I might come back for that, because I'm not sure, it's not on my list, but I might come back, or it's similar to what I want on my list, I'll see what else there is first, that sort of thing. There was some really nice yarns I didn't buy that went on my list, but they will be there for future reference, for future purchases. So, what are the itty bitty bits? I picked up the free pattern for the Shetland Wool Week, this year's Shetland Wool Week. I don't yet know whether I'm going, but I do live close to Shetland, relatively so. Kind of on, if you look at the map of the UK, unless you're looking on a globe, if you're looking on just one of the UK, they tend to put Orkney and Shetland down, like imagine this is the UK and here's Scotland up here, and they tend to put Orkney and Shetland in little boxes over here, but they're not over there. So the top of Scotland you've got Orkney here, but Shetland's right up here, Fair Isle's in the middle, kind of, and Shetland's right up here. And if you were getting to Orkney, you've got a couple of ways of going. You can either fly, straight forwards, or you can catch a boat. So you can catch boats from the top of Scotland across, which take about an hour and a half, depending which one you get. Or you can catch the boat from here at Aberdeen and go up to Orkney, which takes around 6 hours if you're going north, 7 hours if you're coming south. But if you stay on the boat, you can carry it. That's a long time. 6 hours. It's okay coming south because you do it overnight because you can sleep. But if you're going north, you go at tea time and you're land at 11 o'clock at night, and it's like purgatory. You look at your watch at 7 o'clock. Oh, you think, oh, what are we on the boat? Like an hour, 2 hours. But if you're going up to Shetland, you can stay on the boat at Orkney, and it goes from Orkney, from Kirkwall, it carries on and goes up to Shetland. But it takes another 8 hours going north. It lands at 7, you leave at 5 o'clock tea time at Aberdeen, and you land at 7 o'clock the following morning in Shetland. And the thought of staying on the boat for that length of time was just, I could fly, but we'll see. September's not a bad time actually, it might be a bit cheaper in September. It gets very expensive, the flights around in Orkney are very expensive. That would be the cat knocking the tripod. So I picked up the free pattern for Shetland Wool Week, and it's a hat, stranded colourwork hat. I'm assuming Fair Isle hat, but I wouldn't know that for sure. But because it's from Shetland, I'm going to say it probably is. It looks like it is. And yeah, so I might make that. I might go to Shetland Wool Week. I'm not sure yet. By the time September comes around, I'm ready for settling in for the winter and don't really want to go anywhere. But we'll see. We'll see. Holly, don't claw me. And your paws are filthy. Where have you been? You've been in the garden. Yes, honestly, she did say that. The other itty bitty bit I got was I bought some new just a second. Holly, stop clawing me. I wanted a couple of extra cables for my Knit Pro Symphony, I don't know how to pronounce that, Symphony needle tips. I'm getting photobombed by a cat. I need some shorter ones for knitting cowls and such like. Ow, Holly, put your claws away. Put your claws away. Holly puss being mischief. Yeah, we'll see Willow. So I've got a couple extra cables, but I also want some extra needle tips. I've just started, since I got home, the Carbeth cardigan by Kate Davies, which I will put in a normal regular podcast. But I also, so I needed some needle tips for that. I'm knitting it on quite a chunky or bulky yarn, and I needed some 7mm needle tips for that. And I needed some 4.5mm needle tips for some Aran weight yarn that I've got that I want to knit a cardigan with. I'm getting this cat. Holly, stop it. Where do you want to be? You don't know where you want to be. You want to fuss. What I wanted to try was to get some of the Lycia needle tips. And not so much for jumping on them. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, but I like my symphony needle tips, and they're made exactly the same way. There's a different colour, but the advantage of the Lycia ones is that they have the size engraved, or however they do it, on the metal part of the needle tip. So when you're using the symphony ones, it rubs off straight away. You can rub it off with your nail, it just comes off straight away. And I've got cat hairs all over my nose. Sit still. So I wanted some of the Lycia ones, or to give them a try with these two sizes. And when I went to buy them, they don't do 7mm because they're American, and for some reason they don't have 7mm in American sizes. I'm not sure what you would do if you're American and needed 7mm. Just buy a 7mm. I'm not sure. Anyway, they didn't have 7mm, so I bought those in the Knit Pros, and they're actually in my project bag. But I did manage to get the 4.5mm Lycia tips. That's them ones. And because they fit on the Knit Pro cables anyway, so I don't have to buy new cables. It was just I needed this size of needle tip, so I got them in the Lycia ones instead of the symphony ones. You can't eat the needle tips, but if you see, whoops, if you look, I'm gonna try and get it to focus here. Anyway, it won't focus, but the sizes are, it's not going to focus, but they're on the there on that part, and hopefully they won't rub off. But I'm going to give them a try, and if they're good, because I'm only buying needle tips as I need them. I haven't bought a whole set of the symphony tips. I've just bought them as I've needed the sizes. So if these work out well and don't rub off or anything like that, then I'll just buy those ones if I can, rather than the symphony ones, to replace any that break, which hopefully they won't, because none have so far, or any sizes that I'm missing that I need when I need them. Holly, I'm getting harassed by kitties. Okay, I'm finally going to get on to the fibre side of things. I bought some spinning fibre, but I'm going to leave it to last because it's got so many sparkles in it that I will just get covered in them. So I'll do the yarn bit first. Yarn wise, I had a couple of plans in mind, and then I bought other stuff. I wanted some yarn for a particular shawl, and I wanted some yarn for some kind of souvenir socks. I got that term from another podcast. I'm trying to remember who it was, and I can't remember, but one of the other knitting podcasts mentioned about having souvenir sock knitting for when you've been on holiday, and I thought that was actually a really good idea. So when you wear those socks, it reminds you of that particular thing, because socks that you already knit, they remind you of certain things, like my Christmas socks knitted at Christmas, that sort of thing. So that I want some sock yarn, and I wanted some yarn specifically for a specific shawl, and the cat's just jumped up in the window. So the shawl I had in mind is called the Silver Leaf Shawl, and I can't remember who did it, but I will put it up on the screen here. And I wanted some silvery coloured yarn for this silvery shawl, so I got this yarn from Old Maiden Ant, and I'm going to try and get it to show. The colour's pretty accurate. It's like a silvery grey, but it's quite tonal, so it's got elements of blue in there and grey, but it's also, it's a sparkle yarn as well. I wanted silvery grey with sparkles, so this is going to be perfect. I got these from Old Maiden Ant yarns. I spent a bit actually at that stall, And these are superwash, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina in a dreek colourway. I love that word, dreek. That's a Scottish word for you, meaning a gloomy, wet, gloomy, miserable sort of a day. Actually, it's quite a dreek day today. It's pretty much, it's not too bad, but it's bordering on dreek out there. So those are for the Silverleaf shawl, and it's quite a simple. It's a triangular shawl, and you knit it. I can't remember which way you knit it, but it's knit from one point to one edge. I'm covered in cat hairs and fibres. I think you do there's the straight edge first and work backwards. Anyway, so it's quite a plain shawl up to almost the end, and then there's this band, this border, not quite a border because there is a little bit of plain after it, but there's this band of lace work in a leaf design, hence why it's called the Silverleaf shawl, and that's what those are for. But they weren't the only yarn I bought at Old Maiden and Yarns, because there were so many gorgeous yarns. So I also bought, I spotted this yarn. I spotted this the first walk around, and when I came back it was still there, so I did get it, and it is this skein of yarn, and it's all sorts of colours. It's gorgeous. It reminds me of one of my own colourways actually. It's similar but it's not the same, but it's kind of got that multi-tonal deep rich colours, I think. Aurora, my Aurora one is quite similar, and it's gorgeous. This one is 50% superwash merino, 50% silk base, and it's so soft. But I didn't want to just buy one skein that I had no project for, because I didn't have a project in mind. So I thought, if I get a second skein that complements it, then that gives me more options. It will probably be used in a shawl, and the second skein I got to go with it, this colourway is called Fully Completely, which makes sense because it's got like so many colours in it. I think there's even more colours if I move the label. Look at all that. It's like rainbow, and oh, it's gorgeous. And I bought this one called Midnight Owl, which is like an old gold kind of a colour, to go with this one. And I just thought, there was loads of I compared loads of them, and I decided I wanted something. Oh, I've got something, so sorry about this. There it is. I've got Fibre stuck to my eyelid. I wanted it to complement but not be too contrasting, or too clashing. So that works really nicely. There's a couple of shawl ideas in my favourites that I might use these for. So 200 grams is ample. I didn't want to just buy, I mean, I might just use them separately, I just don't know. But I wanted to give myself the option of using it for something other than a cowl or a lacy shawlet, or I didn't want to use it for a hat because it's so soft. It'll most likely be a shawl to go around my neck, or a fancy cowl. But I wanted the option. So those were two more of the skeins that I bought from Old Maiden and Yarns. Sorry, I had still had Fibre. I think I must have been rubbing it back in. But that wasn't the only thing I bought there, because I saw this skein and I really loved it. It's actually, I did mention that bronze one. I think I don't know if I mentioned, but that one's called Midnight Owl. But this one, look at that sparkle. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh god, I seem to really liking sparkly yarns right now. But the ones that the stellina rather than the one that has the, oh, what's it called? Where it's got lots and lots of glittery stuff in it. The ones with the subtle sparkle, the stellina. This one is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and that was called Bitter Bug, and it's this gorgeous, gorgeous, deep rich, almost like a Christmassy green with sparkles in it. The sparkles are showing up more on camera than they do in real life. It's not quite as obvious as that, but it's just showing up really well. And it's a very tonal. You've got some really nice, like a bright, like a rich leafy green there, and there's some really rich, like a conifer green in there. It's really beautiful. And originally bought with the idea of making socks. So there's a couple of socks on my Ravelry favourites that got like leafy designs in them, in lacework. So I might use them, might do them with this, or I'm not sure. There's the fern leaf cowl I could use it for. That would be nice in forest green. So I don't know, I'm not entirely sure, but it will probably be socks. It is a sock yarn, but they're going to make some gorgeous socks or something else gorgeous. Otherwise I might have to get some more of that because it's so pretty. And I botanical dye yarns to sell on my Etsy store, Madman Mel. But botanical dyes, it's really hard to get a really dark rich colour. Certain ones, some of them you can. Purple, I can get a really deep rich purple. I can get really deep rich blues, but greens are really a struggle without it being a complicated process. It's possible, but it's harder to do. So getting this, I was looking for some dark green, but hadn't, vaguely, because I knew there was a couple of projects I wanted green for, and I knew I struggled to get it really dark like this. So this was perfect. So that was my final purchase from Old Maiden Ant Yarns. But it wasn't my only purchase whilst I was there. I did get some more yarn. I got another, whoops, all white there. I'd got another skein which I haven't got with me because it was a gift from my mum. I bought her a 150 gram skein of a cashmere blend from, I should have the flyer, I can't remember, it's from Rose, I know I can't pronounce that, it's German, Rospat und Wollenmeis, I have no idea, but that's the company, and they had there a whole wall of like seconds yarns that maybe the dye batch wasn't quite right and stuff like that, and it was really good value, and I thought 150 grams is a good size to give my mum, and then she's got a few options what she can use it for, and it was a cashmere blend one I got her in, like it was like a almost black and violet colours, like a I don't know if it's self-striping, but definitely variegated. So I haven't got that because I gave that to mum while I was away. But for me, my last stall I bought yarn from was from the Knitting Goddess. And I love her yarns. I love her mohair yarns. I'd not seen them in person. I wanted to have a feel of them, and they're really nice. So I got, this one's actually not one of the mohair ones, but I saw this and I went back for it because I loved it so much. But I'd already bought some sock, I'll come back to it, but I'd already bought my souvenir sock yarn, so I was reluctant to buy any more, but I just couldn't resist that colourway. I mean, look at that, it's like watermelon sweeties. It's gorgeous, it's just, oh, so nice. And that one is called Flower Power. And it's 75% superwash BFL, 25% nylon. So I got that one, but I didn't want to get it on its own. So I also got this skein and this skein. So these are both 75% superwash BFL, 25% mohair. And the green is called green, and the pinky colour one is called Ruby, which is actually really similar to my Ruby colourway, almost identical. Great minds think alike. And they were to go with that one. So, oh, they're so pretty. And I actually made a mistake when I bought these, because I wanted to get a skein of all her different bases, and I wanted to get some of her, I think it's her Brit sock. It's BFL, Wensleydale, mohair. I'm not sure if there's anything else in that, but it's definitely got those three in it. And when I went to get this one, there was another skein, almost the same, probably the same colourway, and I was umming and ahhing between the two as to which one was worked best with this multicoloured one, this variegated one. And this one looked best. And what I didn't take into account was that this one wasn't the same base as the other pinky red one. The other base was the Brit sock, and I picked this one up thinking it was the same base, and it wasn't. It was the BFL mohair, which it's fine, but I would have really liked some of the Brit sock. So I'll have to put in an order for another skein of Brit sock at some time. I was really tempted with some of her bundles and mini skeins, so I might get something like that. But the plan with these is to get several pairs of socks. So these are all 100 grams. So this one with toes and heels. This one with toes and heels. This one with toes and heels of one of these, and the same with that one. And then whatever's left over, hopefully I'll get 5 pairs of socks. Whatever's left over, we'll make another pair of socks. It'll be just like a mishmash or stripy or who knows. But I will get 4, probably 5 pairs of socks from these 3 skeins, because I've been using mini skeins for socks recently, and I can get a pair of socks, just get a pair of socks at 60 grams. 65 is better. I like them at a little wee bit longer. It's a little short, so it depends. I don't know what the yardage will be like on these. It says 400 meters on the mohair and just under 400 meters on the BFL nylon, so there might be enough. We'll just have to see. It looks like I might get a good amount of yardage out of them, so I'll definitely get 4 pairs of socks, maybe 5. So I'm really looking forward to knitting that up and seeing how the mohair compares to the nylon. I've not used mohair as a nylon replacement in sock yarn yet, so I'm really interested on how it's going to work. I usually can't wear mohair around my neck, although that feels okay actually. I usually find mohair a little bit itchy on my collar, like here. I wouldn't wear it I wouldn't use mohair in a cowl for myself, but it's socks, it's fine. I mean, it's barely itchy, it's just that I find it a little bit prickly on my collar. So we'll see. So they were my last yarn purchase at Edinburgh anyway. I did purchase yarn in Swansea. So those, but I did also buy Fibre, and I've been leaving it to last because it's going to go everywhere. Actually, I could mention the yarn I got from Swansea briefly. I went to Tree Yarn Shop. I found it online because, you know, I'm going to check if there's a yarn shop while on holiday. And I managed to get some of these skins. These are Ella Ray Cozy Alpaca Machine Washable Baby Alpaca Blend. And they are 70% acrylic, 30% alpaca. I'm assuming baby alpaca. Or maybe it's just a bit of baby. They're really soft, so soft, and they were really good value. They were £7.95 a skein, and that one was actually £1 cheaper because it was in the bargain bin. So I'm either going to do something quite Christmassy with those, or the plan originally, see, when I originally picked up these 2 skeins, and I want to do the I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's the fern leaf cowl. Is it fern leaf cowl? Or am I getting mixed up with something else? It's got little sprigs. It's like a cowl, I don't know if it's a Mobius cowl, but it's a cowl. I would do it half size, and it's done in colour work, and it's got these sprigs, like conifer sprigs on them, and I wanted a nice forest. The pattern's originally done in a blue and an off-white, and I wanted to do it in like a foresty green and an off-white. So either they'll get used for that, or because I got that as well, but look at how Christmassy that looks, I might have to make something festive. I'm reluctant to make a festive garment and then not be able to wear it at any other time of year. It's very, very soft. So they went to Edinburgh, but they were kind of a few days later. But Fibre, I went to Spin City UK. I met Louise there, got a selfie, and I picked up her card. Spin City. And her bats are gorgeous. I've been looking for a few. I wanted to get, there was 3 specific bats I went looking for, and she only had, I wanted 2 of one and 1 of the other for a particular shawl pattern, where you use 200 grams of one yarn and 100 grams of another, and or maybe it's a little bit less, but you need 2 colours and more than 100 grams of one. And the bands kind of, there's 2 options. There's 2 shawls. There's one where there's kind of bands and they kind of overlap each other with the different colours and they interweave the colours, and you want something that's complementary but contrasting. Or there's another one, similar sort of principle, and I needed similar amounts. There's another one where it's got lace border in one colour and there's the 2 other colours kind of interweave above it, but I needed two bats of one and 1 of another, and I wanted 2 of her candy floss bats, which is like a really pale pastel pink, creamy white, lots of faux cashmere and really soft bats, and another one called I think it's garden petals, garden flowers, something like that, or garden roses, and it's got deeper pinks and creams and such like. Same sort of, I wasn't sure how well they'd work together. I thought they'd work really nice in this shawl, but she had lots of candy floss ones and none of this other one. But whilst I was there, I spotted these other colours and it completely changed the idea of what I was going to, the colours I was going to make this shawl. So I got a rustly bag here. These are very sparkly. I got 2 bats in this colour. Oh, look at them. Oh, they're gorgeous. They're really shiny and sparkly. There's like aqua blue in there and this other cool blue, and there's bits of cream, lots of white, and there's some dark, if I can find a bit, some really dark silver in there. There's some light, there's some silvery bits, and they're really nice. So they're my 200 grams part, and then 100 grams that's complementary yet contrasting is this bat. Oh, just look at that. Look at the sparkles. Oh, this is why I'm keeping it in the bag, because those sparkles get everywhere. It's just gorgeous. So you've got, there's a little tiny fleck of orange stuck on there. Let me just get rid of that. So there will go like that. So you've got some of that aqua blue in there and the cool blue, which you can't see on this one, but on the other bat you've got that cool blue, which goes with that too, and you've got some of the same grey in that, and yeah, they're going to look, I'll put all 3 together, try and put all 3 together on camera without the light kind of, so it's going to look gorgeous, really nice. So I can't wait to spin those up. It's going to be very messy. The sparkles are going to go everywhere. It's going to take some time because there's 300 grams, and I think it's probably fingering weight. It's got to be spun out, so it's going to take a while. But I'm really looking forward to doing that. And those are for, like I said, I will use that for, that's going to be for a lovely, now blue rather than pink and cream shawl. Yeah, it's going to look really nice. So yes, those were my purchases. The ones that I didn't get, there was some yarn from Travel Knitter, and that was in a baby camel silk blend, and I couldn't decide between a couple of colours. In some ways I'm almost tempted to get some of the base myself and dye up the colour to exactly what I want. I'm not sure yet, or I'm just going to get hers. There was a couple, there was one, it was like a really dark navy blue with little aqua flecks in it, similar to that blue bat actually. And there was another one that was just all like beautiful, beautiful scarlet red, and redder than that. It was a rich, rich Christmas, deep Christmas red, and beautifully soft and shiny. And there was a couple of samples knitted up of lacy shawlets, and I was so tempted. But by that time I was just so tired and I wasn't sure. But I took a couple of photos so I know which ones are the ones I would like. There was some more yarn on a different stall that was alpaca rose blend yarn, and they had them in metallics and gems colourways. So you had like amethyst and rose gold and gold, and they were just beautiful, so shiny, really truly were metallic. They were beautiful. But I just don't have a project in mind. I didn't want to buy a yarn that I didn't know how much I would need for the project and just buy random skeins of. So if you buy 100 grams of a skein and you haven't got a project in mind, you're kind of limited. You can make a shawlet, you can make a cowl, you can make a hat, and that's kind of your limit. If you decide you want to make a lightweight cardigan or something like that, then 100 grams is not going to go far enough. So I've just I took a couple of photos so I know the ones I would like at some point in the future, and then I can find the project that I would use it for, and then I can buy the amount of yarn that I need for that project and the same batch and so on. So yeah, those were my purchases. Those were my Yarn Fest purchases, and I really enjoyed it. I would definitely go again. My husband mentioned, would you like to have a stall there at some point? I don't know. It looked really tiring to have a stall there as a stall holder. I'm not sure. I would like to, but I'm not sure. That sounds like a very exhausting few days. But I don't know. Never say never. And yeah, I really enjoyed myself. There was quite a few new yarns. I got to feel some interesting ones up at the Blacker Yarn booth up near the Podcasters Lounge. Some really interesting ones you get to feel and really get an idea of what the yarn feels like and its uses that you could use it for, which was really nice. Going around all the different stalls and finding out different yarn bases that I haven't felt before. Or seen in person. It's been nice to get a real good feel for them and think, oh, that would work really nice for such and such. That type of base would dye up really nice for that sort of thing, which was really, really interesting and really good. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed a bit of footage that I've put at the front and the end, and I should be back very, very soon with a regular podcast. I have a couple of new oh, hang on, I missed some. I missed something. In this little project, how can I forget that? I did buy other yarn. I bought other sock yarn. I went to the Mothy and the Squid. I love her colourways. And I bought some more sock minis. They were my souvenir socks. I forgot my souvenir socks. I've already started knitting them. I bought 1 mini skein for the toes and heels and 2 for the socks. I got this burgundy colour one, which is called Ruby Tiger Moth, I think, and this one, which is actually a sparkle base, but it's not shown up very well, and I can't remember what that's called, and I don't have the label on me. It's in my other project bag. We'll put it up on the screen. And they're both from Mothy and the Squid, and that's where I'm at on my first souvenir sock. I started knitting these whilst I was away in the car while Mum drove. I knitted a sock. I finished off my other socks and I knitted this one. I think I cast this one on at Glastonbury, so it was right at the end and heading back north again. So yes, that was my other one I missed, and you can now hear the floor creaking because my husband's walking past outside the room. So, are you done? He's gone. So that was the forgotten night. So yes, I will be coming back very soon with a new podcast with all my latest cast-ons, a bit more information on the socks and the carpet cardigan and other bits that I've finished off and have started and have worked on. So yes, so I will see you all again soon, and bye bye for now.